This is my final presentation about the failure of Target launching in Canada. They began to open with great fanfare in 2013 and only lasted till 2015 with such disappointment. From the get-go, Target should have never entered Canada and instead remained focused on the US instead. Expansion into Canada began with the announcement in 2011 with the openings that would happen in the future. Many stores began opening in March 2013, but soon there were various problems that began with the expansion. These problems included empty shelves and inventory problems that they just never recovered from. Target Canada sales plummeted US dollars 28 million down to 18.6 million in the very first quarter of 2014. In May 2014, the CEO at the time of the United States, Greg Steinhafel, resigned, and this was mainly due because of the data breach that happened in late 2013. The new CEO and chairman, Brian Cornell, he began around July 2014 and took over after Greg had left. And at this time, Brian started to change things, but they were still losing money in Canada. Here you have management difficulties, and Target management ignored employee suggestions about the ongoing problems and the changes that should have happened but didn't. The issues often went unresolved. Employees were, never trained to complete tasks, and they were poorly compensated, so they were only working part-time and not receiving much pay. Target management really should have attempted to establish a risk-taking employee culture in their stores, and they should have valued each and individual's employees. And additionally, I think the employees should have been treated much more fairly and with more respect, but they apparently didn't. And when the stores were opening, employees seemed to have been undervalued, and a quality project plan is paramount in order for an organization in order to be effective and survive, and really doesn't matter the type of business. Quality assurance was another aspect that Target management simply ignored, and they also should have changed their original plan of action once they realized they were losing so much money. Target also should have planned project activities that would meet productivity goals to be met. Processes, procedures, and policies did not appear to have been met, and they contributed to Target Canada's failure. Target management also should have changed their original plan of action once they realized that things weren't going the way they should have. Here we have an example of a price comparison between US and Canadian Target. And here we have a Xbox game, Call of Duty. And in Canada, the price was about $50, while in the US it was about $30. And the majority of items compared of the same items prove that Target Canada mostly had higher prices than the US. Other examples include Maybelline's Volume Express Mascara, which was $6.99 in Canada, while in the US it was $5.94. Aveeno Body Lotion in Canada was $9.99 in the US, and in the US it was $9.29. So Canadian price was only a little bit more than the US. Burt's Bees lip balm was $4.49 in the US, while in the US it was a couple of dollars cheaper. Package of Energizer batteries were $11.59 in Canada, but in the US it was $13.79. So that was the only example of a higher price of an item. And here we have a comparison of cosmetic brands. And we have such examples of CoverGirl Queen, e.l.f., Milani, and Iman, which are not in Canada. Canada had Maybelline and Sonia Kashuk, but many of the items were not simply on the shelves, were not stocked. So Canadians were not excited about the items that they had, and they wanted better and cheaper American cosmetic brands instead. And here, the store closings were announced in January 2015 by Brian Cornell. Huge sums of money were being lost daily, and there was no choice but to close the stores. Liquidation sales soon began, and the stores were supposed to be open till May 2015, but instead they began closing them earlier than expected, with the last stores closing in April of 2015. News really hit people hard, and workers weren't told, and they were very shocked. Signs, carts, and lights were sold and moved to the US at a price of $2.2 million, and 17,000 employees were regretfully laid off. Target could have used several project management practices and methods such as SWOT analysis and quality planning assurance and control for project estimation. The SWOT analysis is an accordance of strengths, productivity goals to be met, and there were just too many threats from big box stores such as Walmart and Costco. Additionally, Target Canada simply had too many weaknesses and not many strengths and opportunities going for them. One such weakness is that Target tends to occupy large spaces that can potentially be a weakness. So really should have defined the scope, had quality planning, and attempted to define the SWOT analysis. Main reasons why Target failed including opening too many stores in such a short amount of time. So there wasn't any proper planning. The stores would have been successful if they might have had a adequate inventory system, but instead they had a poor inventory system that was not up to the date. American products were nowhere to be found, and that's what Canadians wanted and expected, but didn't get, so they stayed away. And another reason that they failed was not having an online store, which, lots of people like to go online and check prices, and they like to buy things. Especially in Canada, it's very cold, and they wouldn't have to leave their house, but they couldn't do so. So instead, they went to eBay or Amazon Canada or Walmart Canada. Another thing that drove them down was the higher prices, that they expected lower prices, the same ones as in America. Competition from other stores, such as, again, Walmart and other stores, hurt them because they had items in stock and lower prices. There were also poor locations. A lot of them were in old Zellers stores, which were out of the way and not in very high traffic areas. There's also the misunderstanding of Canadian culture. They did not try to attempt to learn about them. And Canadians are their customs, and not much went into learning about them. And there was also poor management. And how could have Target been successful? Well, they could have attempted to plan beforehand, before opening. They should have attempted to figure out Canadians, why they prefer and what they like. It's simply, Canada is not a northern extension of the US. There are various, differences compared to here. They could have attempted to open a few stores in the beginning, such as J. Crew. They opened only one store at first and only have several locations after a couple of years. And they also should have had locations in more ideal places. Having an online website where items could be purchased also would have helped Target Canada. Having well-stocked distribution centers and a multitude of them instead of only a couple would have been practical and help keep customers happy. An up-to-the-date computerized inventory system that was accurate would have been very ideal. And carrying U.S. products that Canadians liked and wanted would have also helped profits be made. With these suggestions for improvement, Target Canada could have possibly been profitable and prosperous if they had done these suggestions. So, I would like to thank you for watching and listening to my presentation. Thank you.